Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video banger. In today's video, we are going to be digesting one of our private community research reports that we have just recently made public to you all. So if you are new to our research here at CYPRX, we are committed to delivering exclusive research and insights that go way beyond the mainstream sources, keeping you all informed on emerging trends and expert perspectives. Our research channel is distinct from other trading channels, offering in-depth analysis on key areas such as blockchain innovations, industry applications, geopolitical trends, smart contracts, and Web3. Our channel here at CYPRX is designed to provide long-term value, which hopefully attracts new members interested in strategic investments in future-oriented developments, including things like research papers, case studies, and trend predictions. So in today's video, we're going to go over a sample of hundreds of hours of Web3 research that we deliver in our private Discord. All the links in this specific report after this video breakdown, I will link this on the X space for you guys to click on and go through. And all of the links that are on this report will take you directly to the source of the information that we get in these reports for future reference. A little bit of a disclaimer: the information provided in these articles and these reports that I'm going to read to you all is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. Always conduct your own thorough research and understand the risks before you invest in the cryptocurrency market. Please, ladies and gentlemen, invest responsibly at your own discretion. Do not over leverage yourself and overexpose yourself to these markets. So in today's report, before I share screen, we're going to be touching on how financial reports, large financial institutions in their PDFs are talking about how they must remain competitive, how they must adapt and adopt these new technologies to remain relevant in this digital era. We're going to be talking about the continuation of countries all around the globe, specifically looking at one, harnessing the potential of digital assets and confirming that through their documentation. We're also going to be taking a look at some World Economic Forum documents talking about artificial intelligence replacing jobs. That will then lead us over into our discussion about DeFi and why it's so imperative from our perspective that you all are taking initiative and starting to learn how to get your digital assets working for you, creating and generating passive income with the assets that you're most likely already holding, collecting dust in your cold storage wallets. We're going to be talking about DeFi opportunities, going over some different projects and platforms that we are currently looking at. And then we're going to get into a little bit of Bitcoin mining, because there's a misconception amongst the retail herd that Bitcoin's going away and that it's garbage or that it has no utility and use case. And by the end of this video breakdown, hopefully we can provide some insights as to how that is actually not the case and just a mainstream view that is distorted and to, in my personal opinion, distract people from what's really happening behind the scenes. So let's share screen. Let's jump in. Shout out to everybody so far that has tuned in. Really do appreciate you guys. If you would, if you're watching this recording, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. It does help this channel grow, and we truly do appreciate the love and the support. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. This is our fundamental research report that we have been newly drafting up for the private community members, primarily because there is so much information in our private Discord. Literally every single week, there is hundreds upon hundreds of fundamentals. So this is more so of a condensed report so that the private members can kind of orient their attention to some of the main key things that we found in our research throughout the entirety of the week. I'll be dropping 3 of these to you guys publicly on X. So if you don't follow me on X, make sure that you go do so that way you can read these weekly reports. And like I mentioned, when I drop these weekly reports on the X space, you guys will actually be able to click all the links of the sources of the information that I find in these reports. I can't say I, but myself and the other CYPRX researchers. And then also moving forward, we are going to have one of our other main CYPRX researchers actually taking over these live calls. And he is going to start doing these live calls and these fundamental digests moving forward. That's something that we're working on moving into October. So that's something to look forward to if you guys enjoy the type of content that we put out. which is just exclusive crypto and Web3 research, right? So just real fast, I wanted to briefly, I always start off these fundamental research reports with some upcoming Web3 events that are never going to reach the mainstream. We have the European Blockchain Convention. That's going to have a vast list of participating entities there. So you guys make sure that you check that out. Hopefully we get some good fundamentals and some good video clips on their YouTube from this, because they're always touching on trending topics and upcoming things and developments that are happening in this space. So I'm looking forward to this. And it's going to be happening at the end of this month on the 25th to the 26th of September in Barcelona. All right. Moving on, we're going to digest 3 PDFs that I added to this report. The first one is a report from Citi, Security Services Evolution 2024. It's labeled Disruption and Transformation in Financial Market Infrastructures. Now, our focus here at CYPRX has primarily been on the building out of this new financial infrastructure. So when I read the title of this report, it piqued my interest. I was like, wow, let's jump into this. This is from a large financial institution. I've heard representatives from Citi talk on stage, which we're going to play some video clips of an individual from Citi mention that for those individuals that are patient, trillions of dollars are coming to the space. It is just a matter of time. It's a matter of building out the proper infrastructure and setting the regulatory foundation in order for these financial institutions to be comfortable to adopt these digital assets. And all of that is happening behind the scenes. And this document confirms that by letting us know that if these financial institutions don't adopt these technologies, if they don't migrate into this new, digital era, they're not going to remain competitive with other large financial institutions that are, and they're going to become irrelevant. So I wrote here for the members, and obviously, of course, you guys are going to be able to read this publicly, that this PDF indicates a significant shift in interest away from central bank digital currencies, which I find interesting, considering that that has been a trending topic over the past consecutive couple of years, towards a more tactical option like stablecoins. In 2024, only 15% of respondents surveyed in this report are still relying on CBDCs as their digital cash option. Now, I don't think CBDCs are going away, but this just shows a massive interest in stablecoins. This report talks about a decrease from 52% in 2023 instead of 65% now. Respondents are now exploring other options, including stablecoins and tokenized deposits, digital payment systems, and tokenized money market funds. Now, this shift suggests that the industry is moving towards more readily available and practical solutions rather than waiting for the development of a live wholesale CBDC, which is not expected to be a short-term prospect. The vast amount of articles that I've read have stated that CBDCs aren't going to be fully ready or implemented until late 2027 and beyond, and stablecoins are mature and they're ready now. So again, that's why I'm assuming that the institutional interest is migrating over towards stablecoins. And here is the piece and screenshot of that report where it talks about such. Now, remember, this is not my perspective. This is a perspective from an industry leader like Citi, or at least whoever was surveyed in this report, right? Now, this document also mentions that institutions must continue to invest in digital assets and distributed ledger technology to drive growth and innovation in the industry. It highlights that despite challenges, particularly in North America, where live activity has decreased, there is still a strong focus on digital assets. The reason why I'm highlighting this is because amongst the mainstream news outlets and articles, you'll see a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, especially when the market's pulling back or there's a sell-off or there's any type of drop in the digital asset landscape. Understand the long-term perspective has not changed. These financial institutions know for a fact that digital assets are the future, including cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. And so it is, again, my personal opinion that if these large financial institutions know this, you as well on the retail side of things should. You get what I'm saying? Don't be shaken out of this market just because we're experiencing a slight market downturn or any future market downturns that we could experience. Understand the long-term perspective of this space is bullish, right? Deal with the short-term fluctuations. Don't overexpose yourself. Don't over-leverage yourself, so that way you can stomach the volatility and you can survive long-term in this market. So the text that I'm going to read suggests that ongoing investments are crucial for institutions to capitalize on the evolving landscape and to ensure that they remain competitive. Then we're going to play some video clips as well from some panelists from systemically important organizations touching on the same exact concept. The need for continued investment is underscored by the growing commercial intent behind distributed ledger technology and digital assets, as well as the importance of engaging various internal risks, legal compliance to facilitate this investment. So here's a screenshot right here where you can see it says, this last year has seen unprecedented levels of execution and delivery across all parts of the world, driven by major advancements in T+1 and distributed ledger technology agendas. The more they have delivered, the more that the industry has learned about where and how they must continue to invest. I like that sentence right there. If they are to achieve the benefits that the world retail and institutional investors expect. So I like that it mentions that they must continue to invest. Then it talks down here about competition. It says, with new retail stakeholders come new competitors. As volumes of cryptocurrency holdings grow in digital wallets across the world, there is a growing concern that traditional equities markets, which are opaque in data terms and which take days to settle, will become inferior to their digital peers and hence trigger an exit of liquidity towards digital asset markets. As a result, market authorities in retail-centric markets from India to Brazil are beginning to take action to close the competitive gap between cryptocurrencies and traditional securities, and in an attempt to preserve the liquidity of their traditional securities markets. So the reason why I'm reading this is because it mentions that they need to remain competitive. Now, I've played some video clips previous to this obvious, of course, recording on the CYPRX YouTube of systemically important organizations and representatives from these organizations mentioning exactly that these financial institutions must adapt. They have to adopt these digital assets or these new technologies if they want to remain competitive. So we're just going to take a second and listen to these representatives speak, and then we're going to roll over, since this document is from Citi and it mentions that they must adapt and adopt digital assets. An individual representative from Citi mentioning that trillions of dollars are coming for those who are patient. So again, just solidifying that long-term perspective that this is not some overnight get-rich schematic. This is for mature investors. If you want to make money in the now, there are ways to do that in this digital asset landscape, and hodling is not it. If you want to make money now, you need to get involved in DeFi. You need to learn how to trade. Outside of that, hodling, your best bet is for the long term, right? So let's share screen and let's present this in such a way where you guys can hear. The first representative that we have is going to be, let me just read his title. He is the Deputy Director, Monetary and Capital Markets Department at the International Monetary Fund, and he mentions that those that remain competitive will survive. Now, the reason why I'm playing these perspectives is because keep in the back of your mind that if they're telling these financial institutions that they must adapt, they have to adopt, and they have to remain competitive, what do you think as a retail investor you should be attempting to do? Keep up with the times, do your research, move with the trend, invest. Again, not financial advice, invest wisely and don't overexpose yourself, but move with the money. And the money is coming to the digital asset landscape. It is just a matter of time. So let's take a second and let's listen to this representative say exactly that.
Of course, you need to scale up. And this scale really matters. The scale, economies of scales in payments is extremely important. So if you want to scale up, first of all, the product or the network has to be very good, so it's the good ones or the more competitive ones that will in the end succeed. But it's also important to be open in the sense that you want to encourage many participants to join the network. So let's work together and eventually have big scales. Now, from a public sector.
So I just wanted to play that. He mentioned remaining competitive and that the individuals that remain competitive will be the ones that survive long term. We're going to play another video clip. Let's share screen so you guys can hear that as well. I sometimes don't like the fact that StreamYard makes you do that. You have to share the screen independently, but it's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, let's just cover this gentleman's credentials so that way you know that these are all perspectives from industry leading representatives, and it's not just coming from CYPRX, right? We're just piecing the part of the pie together, showing you all that they're mentioning this stuff in large institutional documents from Citi, that representatives from the IMF and other representatives are saying the same exact thing which just kind of coexists with what the documents are saying. So this is Nick D. He is the director of the ICC United Kingdom Center for Digital Trade and Innovation and Technology. Lead mentions that countries must remain competitive. So let's take a second and listen to him say this real fast. And this is from a DTC 2024 webinar that took place 4 months ago and only has 70 views. Keep in mind that the vast amount of information that we share in these research articles, nobody's paying attention to this stuff. Now, I can't sit here and say that it's going to give you guys an insight as to what project is going to be the next big boom and bust cycle. But if you want real research that nobody else is tapped into in the crypto community, because everybody's focused on all these bullish Moonboy hopium price targets and Fibonacci predictions and all that crap, if you're tired of that and you want real research, tap into the private CYPRX community, because we're constantly finding gems that nobody else is finding, because we have researchers on a global scale that are tapped into this information, right? So let's take a second and listen to this gentleman here speak.
Both here in the UK and in other countries, but also aligning with the work that others on the panel are doing in that global environment. So we want those tier one suppliers to get the LEIs, to understand the standards to the extent they need to, and also to recognize that this is a global impetus. And if we in the UK, or if a particular country doesn't get on board, there is a risk that they will compromise their own competitiveness as a result. So now is the time to focus on those BCOs, the beneficial cargo owners, really get.
Right. So they're talking about digitalizing trade finance, but he just mentioned that if there are countries out there that don't get on board, they remain vulnerable to exposing themselves to lack competitiveness. So again, the reason why I'm showing you all these industry insights is so that way you all understand the same concepts. If there's going to be so many retail participants and just regular civilians right now amongst the general population that don't even know that this stuff is happening, it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for them to scoop up these utility-driven assets at a discounted price. And by the time financial institutions come in, it's going to be too late. When we right now have an advantage as retail investors, because we don't have a lot of regulatory restrictions hindering us from adopting these technologies and using these technologies right now, whereas financial institutions do. So right now, as retail investors, we have the opportunity to front run governments, countries, and these large institutions. And that is happening for the first time in history. And I've played video clips of systemically important people from large financial institutions saying that to you guys, right? So that's not coming from my personal opinion. That is happening right now for a fact. Okay. Moving on, let's play one last video clip, since this document that we were just reading was from Citi, and it's talking about how, institutions must remain competitive. They have to adapt these new technologies. They must invest in digital assets, word for word. That's what the document says. They must invest in digital assets. Let's listen to a perspective from, I'm just going to read this gentleman's credentials. Give me a second. Let's share screen. This is David C. Cunningham, global head of digital assets for Citi. He mentions that trillions are coming for those who are patient. Now, this is a video clip from roughly about 10 months ago at the European Blockchain Convention. Interestingly enough, that's how we started off this fundamental document today. That convention is coming up here in just a couple of days, but this only has 266 views, right? So take a second and let's listen to what he says here.
You got to work with the larger organizations to say, I know it's a no-brainer to digitize paper-based old instruments that have been used for years. Like, we do something like 40 million letters of credit a year. Like, that's billions and billions of pieces of paper and humans in the loop. It makes total sense to do this, right? But you got to work in stages to get permission for everything. And it's very much a ask for permission rather than an ask for forgiveness type scenario. So I think it's just important for those of us who are used to, being in that entrepreneurial world where anything is possible, to just, when you're trying to move to traditional finance and to regulated kind of areas, to get into the trillions. So for us at Citi, we pushed a report there in March that talked about 13 trillion worth of digital assets by 2030. It is going to be huge. And then you've got the global payments, we just published a report saying that that's a $250 trillion prize there. So the prize is large for all of us who have the patience to work and kind of get permission to push things on and to help move in a regulated manner, because
I'm telling you guys right now, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already. He literally said the prize is huge. It's measured in the trillions for those of us who are patient. So I can't stress enough that now is the time to start to educate yourself on what's happening behind the scenes. Don't be so fixated on marrying a bias on one digital asset. Diversify your portfolio. Don't overexpose yourself. Stomach the volatility. Understand what's really happening behind the scenes and how long this might take, right? Again, we can all put our finger on dates that we would love to see come into fruition for the next massive 10 trillion, 30 trillion, $50 trillion market cap to come into fruition. But at the end of the day, we all need to come to an agreement that this is going to take a, certain amount of time. And if you're here for the long run, it shouldn't matter anyways, because these financial institutions, that's the one thing that they have the upper hand on us as retail investors. They're not impatient. They're not sitting here waiting for whatever digital assets they're holding on their balance sheet to significantly increase in value. They understand that this is going to take time, and they're willing to take that time to solidify the foundation and the infrastructure in such a way where it's not going to crumble and fall when they onboard trillions of dollars. Because if they were to do that and the infrastructure was not ready, if the regulatory environment was not ready, they risk overexposing themselves and collapsing their own business model, right? So it doesn't even make sense for that to take place, which is why patience and a mature approach is imperative. So that's why we're trying to portray this information to you guys so you can see real perspectives. Again, each of these videos, this one, 600 views, the second one I played, 70 views, and this one 266 views, barely even scratching 1,000 views, right? So you can clearly see that this information is going readily unnoticed, which is again what we're trying to convey to you guys here at CYPRX, is that we cover information that not a lot of people are tapped into. Moving back to the report, let's continue. So that was the first piece of the report. So we touched on the document from Citi. We touched on 3 video clips of industry leading experts mentioning the same exact thing that the document's talking about. Now let's move on. So this is a document, Transfer 365 Instant Payment System in El Salvador. And this is a case study on the adoption of digital assets in El Salvador. Primarily, it's fixated on Bitcoin. But the reason why I like this report is because it touches on something that I've talked about in previous breakdowns, especially on the Rumble channel, where I could talk openly and digest some of the things that have happened over the past consecutive couple of years via this digital transformation. But one thing that I've touched on is that these financial institutions mentioned a couple of different things. And it's that CV19, and that whole entire era of 2019 to 2020 accelerated the adoption of these digital assets, digital payments, and this digital transformation. And that is for a fact. It is my personal opinion. Again, I'll repeat that, my personal opinion, that it was a systemically implemented event in order to create more demand for digital adoption. Okay. Again, that's my personal opinion, but we can see in the documents that these large individuals, whether it's governmental entities, large organizations, businesses alike, are saying the same exact thing, right? So let's just read a little bit of this case study, and it talks about embracing digital assets. So we're on that concept, and it talks about and discusses the future of finance. We're going to highlight 2 parts from this. So in recent years, the financial landscape, obviously, of course, has undergone a significant transformation, and it's going to continue over the next consecutive couple of years. Largely driven by technological advancements and changing consumer behaviors, one of the most notable shifts has been the rise of digital assets, which are increasingly recognized as vital components of the future of finance. Now, yet again, not a lot of people even know that this is happening. If you go to your average shopping mall, your average local grocery store, and you ask somebody about the digital assets that you're invested in, hopefully my followers, you guys are invested in utility-driven assets, but they're not going to know what the heck you're talking about, which just goes to show that we are still early. We have not really witnessed, albeit a lot of people think we're in this mass adoption cycle. I get that a lot of organizations, financial institutions, universities, and governments all around the world, they know that this is all taking place. But the normal, every average day citizen in your boondocks location in the nearest city near you, they have no idea, right? So this just confirms that large countries and areas all over the globe are paying attention to this outside of what you may know. So the recent case study on the Transfer 365 instant payment system in El Salvador highlights the importance of adopting digital assets, particularly in the wake of the CV-19 pandemic. And you can see here it mentions the Global Financial Inclusion Database 2021 underscores El Salvador's progress towards financial inclusion, especially amid the heightened demand for digital services driven by the CV-19 pandemic. And I've played a video clip of an individual representative from SWIFT mentioning that in during CV-19, they made this transformational push to go digital for everything. Every little service that you could think of was pushed towards this digital transformation agenda. Okay. So I'm not going to bore you guys to death reading through the rest of this digest, but I just wanted to touch on that one little tiny piece. And then right down here in the report, it also mentions that all these developments mark a significant shift towards embracing digital solutions to enhance financial accessibility. So in conclusion, after reading through this report, the adoption of digital assets is not just a trend, and that's what we all have to come to terms with. It represents the future of finance. And when you understand how massive that is, it'll pique your interest to get involved in a mature and educational manner, and not just, oh, what can I plug in here to make a quick return on my investment and become a millionaire overnight? That's not what this is about. This is about becoming a part of history, and that understanding a lot of the people that are invested in crypto now are not going to survive long term because, number one, they're not investing wisely, and they're not taking a mature approach and understanding that this is so much bigger than the rest of this year or even next year. It's so much bigger than that. And if you can't zoom out and see that, again, maybe the next bull market cycle, most people are going to sell their digital assets for fiat currency, get stuck back in the traditional system, which is dying. It's decaying at a rapid pace. Most people don't even know what they're going to do when they do become wealthy in this next massive bull market cycle. I can guarantee you the vast amount of individuals are going to lose their wealth because they're going to sell it for fiat. They're going to put it back into a traditional financial investment like real estate or something that's going to, not scale over time. And they're not going to move with the changing time, right? Which is why we're going to talk about DeFi in this report, because that's one of the approaches that you all can take when you do experience financial gains in this market. Instead of selling your digital assets back into the fiat traditional system, you can take your digital assets, you can turn them into stable coins, you can turn them into other blue chip crypto assets, and you can take those and put them into DeFi and you can earn yield, right? And I've shown you guys in previous reports that that is what financial institutions are focused on. So as we navigate a post-pandemic world, embracing digital solutions will be absolutely crucial for ensuring that everyone has access to financial tools that they need to survive and remain stable in this digital transformation. The time to invest in digital assets, it's now. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research as to what digital assets those are that you want to stick in your portfolio. But the time is now. The time to invest in digital assets isn't going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. No, it's now, right? And when you understand the power of that, then you take advantage of opportunities that are readily available in the now. So moving on, this is another report that we're going to touch on from the World Economic Forum, and then we're going to roll over into DeFi. But something that's mentioned in this report, I don't want it to send fear, uncertainty, and doubt to my viewers, but it's just important to be paying attention to, especially if you have a job right now that could possibly be replaced by AI. Now, yes, this gets into a little bit of the conspiratorial realm of things when you're talking about how or what depth AI is going to go to replace jobs that exist now. But at the end of the day, we know to some extent, jobs are going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, and we can see that in the documentation. So in one of our previous reports, we mentioned some ongoing developments in the artificial intelligence space, where the European Union, the United States, and the United Kingdom just most recently, along with some other jurisdictions, signed the first internationally legal binding treaty on AI. The Council of Europe announced just recently. Now, the Council Secretary General, I'm not going to butcher this, I am going to butcher it, nope, emphasized the need to ensure that AI, supports human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. The treaty offers a legal framework for the entire AI lifecycle, promoting innovation while managing risks, and it was signed in I'm going to butcher this one too, Vilnius. Sorry about that. It follows the EU's own AI Act and was also signed by countries including Andorra, Norway, and Israel. And here is a clickable article. You guys can see that this is from September 9th. So it is recent. Now, this is something, again, in my personal opinion, that everybody should be paying attention to. Why? Because in this report from the World Economic Forum, it discusses the potential for generative AI to replace jobs, significantly impacting the future of work, especially in industries affected by trade agreements. So here you can see in this report, this is from the World Economic Forum, and this is updated from September 2024. It's labeled an analysis of generative artificial intelligence and international trade. And if we scroll right down here, it mentions McKinsey estimates that nearly 30% of the hours currently worked across the US economy could be automated by 2030. A Gallup poll of over 100 human resource leaders found that 72% believe that generative AI would replace jobs at their organization in the coming 3 years. 3 years is not a long way away. I've mentioned in previous breakdowns that a lot of this stuff that seems very conspiratorial now is going to materialize by 2030. We are in a technological super cycle. And so over the next, let's just say 7 years, we're going to go through advancements that would have taken 40 years, 50 years back then. And it's going to take a very short amount of time now because of how fast things are moving and the advancement of these technological, inventions. It's going to only continue to scale, and it's going to seem like 20, 30, 40 years of transformation is going to happen in the next 5 to 7. So if you guys think that this is, conspiratorial now, wait till 2030, and you're going to realize that a lot of front end jobs, people that work at fast food restaurants, all of these things that can be replaced by job. I mean, there's so many things, especially if you work in the car industry, if you work in factories, if you work at like a front desk and you're taking phone calls or you're just typing in stats in a database. All of these jobs, they're going to be replaced by AI because AI can do it much more efficient than you. They never call off sick. They don't make mistakes, it's a fact that this is happening and people can't see it because yes, it seems conspiratorial now. Oh, how could a robot replace my job? But when you zoom out and you see what's really happening, right? What they did to us back in 2019, 2020, again, they prepped us for what's happening. They pushed this digital transformation. Okay. And this is all part of the agenda, the 2030 agenda. I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get this recording taken down. But you guys, hopefully, if you're tapped in, you know what I'm talking about. All right. And if you don't, then that's why we're portraying articles to you guys like this that go readily unnoticed. This is, again, an updated report from September 2024 from the World Economic Forum. And it literally tells you right here that McKinsey is estimating 72% believe that generative AI is going to replace jobs in organizations in the coming 3 years. That's not coming from me. That's coming from a large, consulting firm like McKinsey and Company. Okay. So just consider that moving forward. So with all of this information in mind, bundled up, at the end of the day, the beginning of this report is just trying to get you guys to fixate yourselves on getting involved now, whether that's through investments, whether that's through education, whether that's through just understanding what's happening. Okay. I get that people are still sidelined. They're a little skeptical and they're still a little uneasy about investing in digital assets, and that's okay. But that's why here at CYPRX, we are in an attempt to properly educate you guys on what's happening without giving you guys bullish moonboy hopiums and targets and all this bullcrap that everybody else is so fixated on in the space, and giving you all real research so that way you can see what's actually happening via these large financial institutions' perspectives. So that way you stay focused, you don't get shaken out, and you truly understand that we are in the midst of a massive digital transformation. So if you've enjoyed this report and this video so far, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're listening to this live, really do appreciate you all for tuning in. We got 600 listeners. So thank you guys so much for tapping into this call today. Like I mentioned before, when there weren't too many people on the call, we are going to start to do these weekly as we head into October. We have some new developments happening in the CYPRX research team. We're going to have some of our researchers actually do these live calls for you guys, just like I'm doing now, where we're reading our fundamental reports in our private Discord. This is just a little taste of all the information that we share in our private Discord. Literally every single week, hundreds of fundamentals that go readily unnoticed, that never reach the mainstream, all perspectives from industry leading experts, large organizations, institutions, governments, regulatory or regulated entities. I mean, it's insane the amount of info that we share in the Discord. So if you guys want access on a deeper level to all this information, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. We'd love to have you in the private Discord. It's such a great community, and it's all about education and just knowledge and just really giving you guys value. So let's move over into the second portion of this updated report. This is, again, our report from yesterday that we shoved out to the private community. Remember that you guys are going to get access to 3 of these reports. I'm going to drop the link for this on my X profile, so you guys have all the links to these videos and these PDFs and these other clickable links that we're going to go over now. So let's roll over into DeFi. So the reason why I touched on DeFi and the way that I set this research report up to show you guys that jobs might potentially, again, I say might because who knows the future, but it's a possibility, get replaced in the future by artificial intelligence, which is why you in the now should learn how to utilize the digital assets that you hold already to start to generate you passive income. I personally, right now in DeFi, again, not financial advice, make enough passive income by utilizing the digital assets that I already hold to pay all of my monthly expenses. And that's saying a lot because most people don't. Most people don't even know what passive income is. Yet they hold these digital assets in high hopes that they're going to get or experience some massive high return, when in reality, most people just want money, right? And if you want money, again, in the now, hodling is not going to do that for you. If you want money in the now, there are ways to approach this digital asset space that will make you income now, whether that's through trading or whether that's through DeFi investing. Now, again, DeFi is not for everybody, but if it's something that interests you and you want to start to generate passive income, we've talked about this multiple times before. You don't have to go and take all the assets that you have in your cold storage and go and shove them into DeFi. That's risky. I wouldn't even do that. And I haven't done that. I've built a strategic portfolio outside of my blue chip long run bags, and I've built a completely separate DeFi position, right? So I have a bull run bag and I have a DeFi portfolio, right? And you can go about doing that. So we're going to get into, and not financial advice, I'm not telling you guys to go do that, but educate yourself in DeFi. Understand the power of your digital assets and how they have the power to generate you passive income now. And large organizations know this. So we're going to get into DeFi. We're going to talk about some DeFi developments, and none of this is financial advice. These are all just developments that we're watching here at CYPRX because a lot of us hold these digital assets. We're going to talk about optimism. We're going to talk about the XDC network, and we're going to talk about the XRPL. All right. So with that being said, if you guys do want to learn more in depth about what DeFi is, how to utilize your digital assets, maybe you don't want to deploy, but you at least want to get educated, again, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We have a full Wealth 28 Club DeFi University course for you guys with over 100 video breakdowns showing you all step-by-step how we are risking and exposing our capital in the DeFi landscape to earn passive income. Okay, so we're going to start off with this fundamental from Velodrome. Now, as a community here at CYPRX that is deeply interested in the intersection of decentralized finance and traditional finance, Velodrome has captured our attention. This project is not only gaining momentum with institutional players, but it's also attracted the interest of US Congress members in 2024. Back a couple of months ago, Representative Mike Collins disclosed the purchase of up to $15,000 worth of Velodrome on May 17, 2024, signifying that this project has become relevant even amongst policy makers, which just goes to show that these individuals, especially in the political side of things, they know about DeFi, right? And so just here's, by the way, a clickable article where you guys can go and read about that. So what sets Velodrome apart is its strategic partnerships and connections with compliant organizations. That's what we like, and that's what we like to see. Velodrome is a central liquidity hub for the Optimism superchain, a layer 2 network that offers low fees and seamless trading. Recently, Velodrome just partnered with Ocean, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, a blockchain launched by Clearpool to further solidify its position in real-world asset tokenization in that sector. We know that real-world asset tokenization is going to be a massive niche moving forward in this digital asset landscape. And here's a clickable article that you guys can read once I drop this report. This is from September 11th, talking about this partnership, but we digested this for you. So, Ocean's focus on compliance and institutional adoption is pivotal for bridging the gap between the traditional financial world and DeFi. By integrating Velodrome As its anchor decentralized exchange, Ocean, I hope I'm again saying that correctly, Ocean enhances its ability to support institutional players in DeFi, which I've shown you guys in previous videos. They are for a fact interested in earning yield on their digital assets, and they are for a fact interested in onboarding into the DeFi ecosystem. Now, Ocean ensures interoperability between permission and permissionless protocols. The foundation of Ocean by Clearpool, a major player in the DeFi credit and real-world asset lending space, underscores the legitimacy of Velodrome's mission. Clearpool is led by experienced professionals from traditional finance like Robert Alcorn, and this addresses significant pain points in the DeFi space, such as over-collateralization. And you can see right here in the About page, Clearpool was founded by professionals from the traditional financial space. Robert Alcoin, he was previously an executive director and head of repo trading APAC at the First Abu Dhabi Bank. Here's some other interesting leading experts that were also participants in Clearpool. You guys can read about that on their About page. So at the end of the day, in essence, Velodrome isn't just another DeFi project, in our personal opinion. It's partnerships with projects backed by traditional financial veterans, embraced by policymakers, and strategically positioned to onboard institutional players into DeFi, which we know is happening, is extremely important for us here at CYPRX to be paying attention to the developments on this project. All right, so we just wanted to throw that one in there. Velodrome is a project that we are watching very closely. I personally hold Velo, again, not financial advice, and it's not the Velo finance, it's Velodrome. Okay. Now let's head over into XDC. All right, so we have some interesting developments on the XDC network. So why are we keeping an eye on Prime Finance? Let's jump into this. I mentioned at the CYPRX Well 28 Club, we are always on the outlook for promising projects that align with our long-term vision for digital assets, which is how during the next bull market cycle, when we experience life-changing wealth that everybody's set to, or be fixated on, how can we keep that wealth? Well, in our personal opinion, it's not to sell your digital assets for fiat to get stuck back in the traditional system where most people are thinking they're going to go and they're going to buy a real estate, they're going to go and buy whatever fancy car they've been fixated on for the past couple of years, whatever. Hopefully, you guys, if you do sell back into fiat, you at least pay off your debt, right? But that's not our goal here at CYPRX. Our goal is to leverage the digital assets that we have long-term and get them working for us. I personally, this is what I plan to do, is I'm probably not going to sell the vast majority of my assets. I might sell so that way I break even on my positions, but my portfolio, my long-term bags, they're for my kids, but they're going to be utilized in DeFi so that way my kids get my digital assets and I get the passive income that my digital assets are making for me. So that way I don't have to sell my digital assets and they're still generating me passive income while my kids can have or hold on to those digital assets for the long term, right? Hopefully by the time I'm gone and this really all takes off and we see, I don't know, hundreds of trillions of dollars come into this space. Maybe we see it before, who knows, right? But that's my game plan. And so one of the key assets that we hold here at CYPRX, at least the vast majority of us do, is XDC. Again, not financial advice. So in recent developments, I have in past video breakdowns mentioned to you guys that XDC was mentioned in an International Chamber of Commerce document. And you can see here that XDC was directly highlighted as a solution for facilitating faster access to trade finance liquidity with digital identity and digital promissory notes. So I found that interesting. This is, again, an updated report from September 2024. So it is all updated information. And you guys can click on this in the report and you can read that further if you'd like. Now, we are closely watching Prime Finance, which is a project that integrates seamlessly with the XDC ecosystem. Prime Numbers Labs, the driving force behind the Prime Finance, is building a revolutionary decentralized finance platform that merges lending, borrowing, staking, and NFTs into a cohesive system. Here in the club, our focus is always on making our digital assets work for us, and Prime Finance offers just that. And so you can see this is their roadmap. I like their roadmap because it also talks about regulatory developments, but it mentions staking, it mentions lending, it mentions borrowing. So again, I'm not personally utilizing this platform now, but I'm watching it closely because in the next bull market cycle, right? Or in the future, when DeFi regulations are solidified, I would definitely like to learn or utilize this platform to deploy my XDC and earn passive income. Okay. Instead of having to sell my XDC for fiat currency, I would love to deploy my XDC, right? Earn that passive income and use that passive income for, or, to stimulate my dopamine of, oh, I need money now. Okay. So some key features of Prime Finance. We have security and transparency. Prime Finance will be, they mentioned on their website, fully audited by open source, ensuring that users' assets are protected. The platform encourages third-party integrations and is designed for maximum transparency. Passive income and borrowing. Users can deposit assets to earn passive income or leverage their assets for borrowing, allowing for flexibility and maximizing return. Now, would I stick all my XTC on this platform in the future? No, absolutely not. Diversification is key. But as the DeFi ecosystem continues to develop and unfold and matures, am I going to deploy a certain portion of my XTC in the future on this platform? 100%. As long as this platform sticks to what it is that they're attempting to promote right now, and we continue to see these developments unfold and this platform matures. Risk management. Prime Finance takes DeFi risks seriously with continuous audits and bug bounty programs. The platform ensures that it stays secure and resilient to potential vulnerabilities. And then PRNT token governance, where Prime Finance Governance Token, PRNT, or PRINT, empowers users to vote on proposals that shape the future of protocol, giving the community a strong voice in its evolution. Now, this is where the XDC connection comes in. Prime Finance integrates with the XDC network, and it's a game changer in our personal opinion. XDC's fast transaction speed, scalability, and security make it the perfect blockchain for powering Prime Numbers Labs' DeFi ecosystem. And here are some prospects or some statistics about the XDC network. Okay, so here is where you guys can read about that a little bit further. We thought that we'd throw that into the report as well, because it is something that we are paying attention to in the Wealth 28 Club. So that way, eventually we can go and deploy our XDC on this platform and start to generate passive income. Again, I mentioned that right now we are currently not using this platform, but it's something that we are keeping an eye on. Another platform that we are keeping an eye on that just made a massive announcement for the XRPL ecosystem and you XRP holders, which again is something that is extremely touchy amongst subjects via the mainstream, retail XRP enthusiasts, is we had the AMM feature drop in March of this year, where for the first time ever, XRP holders, just like Ethereum holders over the past consecutive couple of years, have been able to take their Ethereum, go and deploy it in the DeFi ecosystem and generate passive income, whether that was from lending, borrowing, staking, liquidity, implementation where you can go and provide liquidity on DeFi or DEXs, decentralized exchanges. Okay, that all for the first time is happening now and is starting to unfold on the XRPL ecosystem. So a lot of XRP holders that have been holding for the past 4 years are so fixated, or maybe even longer, right? Are so fixated on this HODL mindset. And it's because for the first time ever this year, the opportunity for us to take our XRP, leverage it to earn passive income is happening for the first time. So it's a little sketchy. I get that. But this is one of the projects that we are focusing on. So that way we in the future don't have to sell our XRP for fiat currency like everybody's planning to do. How many times have you seen on YouTube those videos of individuals like, oh, I'm going to sell, my XRP at $5, $10, $100, whatever. Why on earth? Let me just ask the question. Did you spend all this time to accumulate XRP to eventually sell it for fiat currency or whatever said domestic currency for your certain jurisdiction? That makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't want to sell my XRP. I never want to have to sell my XRP. Like I mentioned to you guys, in the future, I would like to hold on to my XRP if it ever does reach $5, $10, $20, $30, $40, whatever your price prediction is. Yes, obviously, of course, I will probably sell to break even, right? My initial investment. So if my initial investment was $72,000, if we ever see that come into fruition, I'll sell $72,000 worth so that way it becomes risk-free. But any XRP that I have after that, right? I don't want to, I want to hold it. I don't want to get rid of it. And that XRP that I have in the future, I want to be working for me. And so this is one of those platforms that we are keeping an eye on because it gives you the ability to do exactly that. So like I mentioned, we are always keeping our eye on exciting developments in the DeFi space. And one such project that we're watching closely is Anado. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Built on the XRP ledger. For many of us who hold XRP, Anado's platform offers a significant opportunity to put our assets to work and generate passive income, something that will be massive for wealth creation in the future. Anado's simplifying Web3 with XRP. Here, you guys can click about this and read a little bit more about it, but Anado's mission is to make navigating the Web3 space as simple as possible. Through a suite of applications and integrations, the platform eliminates the complexities of interacting with Web3 technology. Whether you're an individual or a business, Anado aims to provide hassle-free access to decentralized apps without technical barriers that often come with blockchain. But Anado's vision extends beyond just software and development. They are committed to driving education, bridging ecosystems, and fostering innovation across industries. Their goal is to make blockchain technology as easy to use as traditional finance, integrating it into everyday life so that anyone, regardless of their experience, can confidently navigate the crypto space. Something that we've mentioned in previous calls, especially myself and Mr. Aqua, why we even created the Wealth 28 Club, teaching people about DeFi, is because we firmly believe that DeFi is going to be the new normal. Earning yield on your digital assets is going to be the new normal, especially when financial institutions come in and they start to do the same thing. They take their digital assets, they put them into a yield aggregating platform or a platform that aggregates yield for them, and they earn on their assets. It makes no sense to sell your assets, again, from my personal perspective, that you've accumulated for the past couple of years back into the fiat system because you want to go buy a Lamborghini or whatever the case may be, when you could literally take your XRP, put it into a DeFi ecosystem, make enough passive income to then go and buy a Lamborghini, and you still have your XRP and you have passive income, right? Think about it. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, you got to reorient your focus on what's happening, okay? And not be so fixated on what the past is. So Anado's just announced this Ano Vault, which is a game changer for crypto investing. And here you guys can click on this if you want. It is the Ano Vault, which is a new era of effortless crypto investing that they just launched a couple of days ago. Now, Anado has announced the launch of Ano Vault. Let's read about this, which is a groundbreaking platform designed to simplify crypto investing. This is especially appealing for newcomers or those with limited time actively to manage their portfolios, because it does it for you. It actively manages your portfolio. So let's read a little bit about this. Ano Vault allows users to follow expert investment strategies while benefiting from professional research insights. It essentially copy trades for crypto, letting you choose a curated portfolio based on your own risk tolerance, whether that's low, medium, or high, while maintaining full control over your assets. This makes crypto investing accessible to everyone without the need for extensive knowledge or hours spent monitoring the markets, which again, for most people that work a 9-to-5 job but still invest in this digital asset space, is a plus. So key features of this Ano Vault that they just announced is decentralized and trustless. It maintains full control over your assets while benefiting from high expert insights. Multi-chain support, and you can invest in multiple different blockchain networks effortlessly. Expertly curated portfolios. You can follow professional research and benefit from smart investment strategies. And then it offers a user-friendly interface, where even if you're new to crypto, you can start investing in minutes utilizing this platform. Now, according to Panos, the CEO of Anados, our carefully curated portfolios allow users to benefit from our research and insights without spending countless hours staying informed, adjusting their portfolios, and searching for the best yield opportunities. Why Anado and XRP matter for us. With the ability to deploy our XRP and earn passive income through platforms like Anado and Ano Vault, again, I know I'm butchering this to death, but sorry about that. This development is crucial for wealth creation in the long run. Again, we're not utilizing this platform now, but we're paying attention to it and the development's ongoing. So that way, when the next bull market cycle happens, we're not going to get wrecked like everybody else who sells their XRP back into fiat, which is depreciating at a rapid pace, right? And we're going to be able to take our XRP, leverage it to earn passive income, okay? It's built on the XRP ledger, and Anados taps into the XRP speed, scalability, and cost efficiency, creating an ideal foundation for decentralized finance. So you guys, again, once I drop this report on X, can read a little bit more about it. As always, do your own personal research, but it's something that we are paying attention to in the CYPRX community, right? So we thought that we'd include that.